Hey, what's up, everybody, and welcome to episode number 118 of the Unknown Games Podcast, a show where we talk about video games, all the news that's happening in the industry, of course, our lives here in Japan, because myself, Adrian, and my co-host Alex, that's where we live every week. 118 episodes in, so
Wait, did you say that's where we live every week?
that's where we live every week in
Yeah,
Japan.
okay, yeah, as if the connotation is we might move to countries every second week.
You
or
never
something,
know.
yeah.
We could be country hopping even in 2022. Magics, man. You know how we do.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. So, I mean, this week we've got a great show for you. I mean, I could say that every week, but sometimes it's just not true. But talk about putting yourself
Well,
down.
at least you're being honest, yeah. At least you're being honest.
Oh man. Well, I mean, like honestly, like it's a great show this week. We're talking about Microsoft and the Activision Blizzard deal that happened, of course, at the end of last week, about 5 or 6 days ago, from when we were recording. And if you're listening to us on iTunes or Google Play Podcast, Spotify, any of those services, be sure to go ahead, give us a 5-star rating, review the podcast, leave some good words. And if you're on YouTube, if you're watching our beautiful faces right now, then go ahead, say hello, hop into the chat, leave a sub to the channel. That sounds weird. Leave a like on the video, sub to the channel.
Yeah,
there we
like
go.
the video, sub to us on YouTube, comment down below, share with your friends. I don't know.
Yeah, make us part of the social media machine.
Yeah?
Yeah, hey, I mean, we're almost to 100 followers, which is, it's not
I mean,
like
100
1,000.
subscribers, yeah.
How come why can't YouTube, and why do I keep saying followers? Is it because of Twitch?
I mean, maybe it's because I remember I was looking at a VTuber's channel today, right? And I was like, oh, like I should sub to them to see what emotes I would get out of it, right?
Right,
And
right.
on a YouTube channel with memberships, which is like Twitch's subs, it'll say join and then it'll say subscribe, right?
Right.
And join is the one you want because that's like where you give them money per month. Yeah,
That's right. It
So I
feels
was
like it's like,
I was just in the mindset. I was like, oh, I'm gonna subscribe to them. Obviously, I'm like, oh wait, that's the wrong button. Yeah.
dude, it's definitely something. And I mean, speaking of Twitch, I mean, you can follow both of us, because I did get that one right. You can follow both of us. Myself on Twitch at Ninjatrix, Ninjatrix, and you can follow my co-host Root Alex.
What? Yeah, you can follow me, Alex, at Root24. It's twitch.tv/Root24.
There we go. That's the basics. That's everything right there, up front. And let's go ahead, hop on into it. I mean, last week we both woke up. Of course, we're here today, so obviously we're still waking up.
Coma or something
We're
like that.
we're still waking up. I mean, because we're in Japan, sometimes we wake up and I know no one just was like, I knew this news was gonna happen, but like I woke up and I was like, huh, more crazy stuff happening. Microsoft buys Activision Blizzard with the I literally shrugged it off, but knew it was crazy insane.
Yeah, I guess that's the main topic for today. If you want to jump straight into it, basically, then yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we'll make it quick because we got great news to get to at the end of the show.
Sure. Yeah. All right. So the main story here basically is that Microsoft and Activision announced that they're going through a deal. Like Microsoft's going to acquire Activision Blizzard. Hasn't finalized yet, right? We still have a ton of paperwork and signing to do, right?
Right.
Do you have any idea when the deal will fully close? Because I think it's still in the stage where it could get blocked still, right?
It could get blocked. So the thing is I was looking up more information on it over the past week and stuff, and what I was hearing. So the deal was for $68.7 billion. And then Phil Spencer was saying on an interview with CNBC that they're hoping to close this around the end of, fiscal year 2023. So about 18 months till close is what he said. Exactly, right. 18 months. Mm-hmm. And I didn't notice, but you're right. This could still be blocked. I mean, there's not a likelihood of it happening, but it seems like a lot of these large companies have been on buying sprees and antitrust laws, between Google and Facebook or Meta, whatever, all that stuff is it's still relevant. So it could, there's potential. There is potential.
Isn't it in America? I believe it's America where, because Facebook is an American company. I think, legislation is trying to force Facebook to sell Like Instagram and WhatsApp.
And WhatsApp. Exactly,
Because
exactly.
they're like too big, right? And they're like, you can't be in control of all this data. Essentially, you can't have all this customer data. Like you have to like diverse. You have to get rid of your assets, essentially, right?
Exactly, exactly. And what I found out when I was looking at some of this stuff, apparently Microsoft had 56 deals of acquisition last year in 2021. And then they also had a purchase of, well, we know one of the purchases, of course, which was was it Vivendi,
You're talking about
the
um uh
Bethesda.
Bethesda,
Yeah,
yeah.
that whole thing. But then they also did another $19 billion deal for this Nuance Communications, which is essentially for like cloud services in the health center, in the health
Yeah, was this
region.
specifically
But
for their gaming division or just Microsoft in general? Microsoft is a very
in
big
general, yeah,
company.
yeah, these are Microsoft in general. So
Okay, so Microsoft
they
does more
spend
than video games, right?
exactly,
So
exactly,
they make mergers all the time because
all the time.
yeah. I'm just curious, but we know that the announced deal for Microsoft acquiring Activision Blizzard is in the ballpark of $70 billion, right?
Right, right, right.
Do you remember how much Apple purchased Beats for?
We can look it up.
How much was that deal? Because I believe it would have been a lot of money as well.
So Apple, they would not put that in it for 3 billion.
Only three, huh?
I was like, I know Dr.
Yeah,
Dre
I thought it was gonna be. I thought it
sipping
was gonna
on
be.
more, but that's still a lot.
You know
That's still a
what?
lot. Like, let's
Three
get
is a
real.
little
That's
bit of
still
a
a lot.
drop in the bucket. I mean, 3 billion. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me
Yeah,
wrong.
3
3 billion is a
billion.
lot
3
of.
billion.
Yeah, that's a lot of money. But when you're, I for some reason I thought it was like 50 billion. I guess I was so wrong.
Right.
But
It
yeah,
seems like it would be more, but I mean this deal encompasses with Activision Blizzard and I guess King as well. This whole thing is so many IPs. In terms of what we're used to, so many big IPs, a lot from the Blizzard side, Overwatch, Diablo, Call of Duty on Activision,
Candy Crush.
you cannot forget about Candy Crush. A lot of people on that crush.
I'm
When
kind
I
of
was
surprised it's still going.
dude, when I was in the US, they had commercials running at least almost every other commercial break for Candy Crush. I kid you not.
Seriously?
I'm serious. I was
You know that
surprised.
I know, like I went to school with one of the level designers for Candy Crush.
Oh, snap.
Yeah, I talked to him about Candy Crush. Make what's it like to make levels where they're hard and hard enough that you might want to spend money, right, to like keep playing.
Right, right.
And he's like, yeah, he has to like be able to beat all of the levels personally.
Well, without
I
spending
think
money
it's like
first.
without using extra like lives and stuff like that. Yeah.
But I mean, it's insane because they have Treyarch, Raven, High Moon, Beanox, Sledgehammer, Infinity War. A lot of these actually just work on Call of Duty.
Those are
Let's
like
get
all,
real.
yeah. You know what?
Let's get
Yeah,
real. A
I
lot of
mean,
these are Call of Duty and Call of Duty support studios.
well,
Right?
no, like at this point, honestly, at this point, Activision, I believe this, what they basically said it last year. Like they're just all hands on Call of Duty now. Like the team that made Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, like the remaster, I believe they're forced to be making Call of Duty now or something like that.
They're on it,
Yeah.
And Toys for Bob, which is the Crash Bandicoot guys and peeps.
Yeah,
girls.
I think they have to be Call of Duty. I mean, maybe
I think
correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they have, like, I think Activision now is basically just a Call of Duty company.
they still every once in a while, they put something else out that's not.
Well,
Call
I
of-
think,
I mean,
like,
they have
everyone-
they're licensed properties,
They'll
right?
publish something.
They'll
but
publish something, right?
As for their in-house stuff, yeah, like Activision, I believe, published. Maybe they own the IP for Sekiro.
They published it, but they don't own the IP for Sekiro.
Oh,
Similar
that's-
to
Is that from Soft? Is
It's yeah. It's kind of crazy because I don't know why FromSoft does this, but of course we know Sony owns the IP for
Bloodborne?
but
Right.
they went through through Sony for publishing with Bloodborne. Then they went to Activision for Sekiro, and now they're going through Bandai Namco for Elden Ring.
For Elden Ring, yeah.
I just are they going through Sega next? Like who's next? What are they going to publish?
I
on?
don't work at FromSoft. Maybe they are shopping around because, like, when you get basically credited for making a new genre video game, right? Soulsborne, right?
Soulsborne, yeah.
When you get credited for making a brand new type of game,
People want you, I assume.
Yeah. So if you're FromSoft, I guess maybe you have a ton of buying power. Maybe they have a shitload of people like lining up to be like, I'll publish your game. and like, like let's see what Microsoft has. You know what I mean? Like, so
I mean, yeah, that could totally be could totally be it.
yeah.
But I mean, like, it was huge news, and you know, a lot of people were commenting on it and saying so many different things. I mean, like, what was your initial reaction though? Like, what was your
I was
initial?
streaming at the time actually.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, someone dropped in their chatter like Microsoft's buying Activision for 20. I'm like, really now? Holy shit. But I was shocked, but honestly not that shocked. It feels like Microsoft definitely picked the prime moment to swoop in and take Activision, right?
Right, right. I mean, yes.
Um,
Ideally, this is
right,
yes,
because there's a obviously Activision or sorry, Microsoft is they have a hand in the video game like market. They're competing with Sony and Nintendo, and I'm sure they would love like any advantage they could get, right?
right, right,
Purchasing Bethesda last year was a calculated move to have a little bit of a foothold into like the console wars, I guess, right?
right, right.
And I think for them, this was just the prime time to strike. Like if they were ever going to get Activision Blizzard, it was going to be right now on account of all the things that's happening at Activision Blizzard, like in the last year,
Year, 2 years. I mean,
So
yeah,
yeah, I mean, if they were going to get this giant ass company, it was going to be right now. So
yeah,
uh,
indeed.
I was kind of surprised. I mean, $70 billion is so much money, but you have to keep in mind that it's not like they're what's the word? It's not like giving them a vault of cash and they open this vault and it's just like $100 bills, right?
Yeah, it's not that. It's not
It's
that.
it's $100 billion in like not I don't want to say like fictional money. It's like 100 billion or 70 billion in like your company's worth this much kind of
Yeah, it's
money,
that
right?
monopoly money.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not like they're like doing this sweet ass deal where they show up in suits and sunglasses and they open the briefcase and it's just like all diamonds or whatever. But
No,
I would love
no.
to see that. But
I mean, to put it in perspective, I know, you know, Papa Jeff. We always Jeff Keighley. Come on,
Papa Jeff, yeah,
Jeff Keighley. You know, he posted this. Just if you were wondering, just how much all the other market caps on the other, you know, or the other companies, how much they're worth. EA at 38 billion, Take Two at 18 billion, Nexon at 15 billion, Bandai Namco with all the anime and Souls games and whatever else
all
they
the
want to
Demon
make.
Slayer, whatever they're doing, yeah,
Friggin' 15 billion. You know, they
yeah.
got it. Embracer at 10.8, Netmarble 7, Ubisoft at 7, Konami. The pachinko must be strong with Konami at 6 billion.
To be beating Square Enix right now.
To begin, yeah. Square Enix is about 5.6 billion, Capcom at 4.9 billion, and Sega at 3.6. And when they bought, when Microsoft acquired Bethesda and Vivendi, that whole entire works, you know,
Yeah.
the whole all of us were thinking like, you know, Sega's next, and of course they pulled this, but you know, now it kind of puts what I thought when I initially heard all of this was like, dang, you know, Microsoft.
Yeah, so if these are the numbers,
Getting it.
like, and they purchased Activision Blizzard for 70 billion, like, alternatively, Microsoft could have purchased those companies.
Three, four, five studios.
Yeah, what's gonna be interesting to see would be how will Sony react, if at all. Will Sony just be like, all right, so there's a chance that Call of Duty, whatever whatever it is, maybe it'll launch first on Xbox. Maybe we won't get DLC or something like that. Maybe Sekiro 2 is exclusive to Xbox Series, right?
Right.
And if that's a possibility in the minds of Sony, how are they going to counteract that? Are they going to in turn start sweeping up other exclusivity deals? Are they going to be like, I mean, to be fair, they already been doing it with Square. FF16 is exclusive for
I mean,
least a year, like FF7 remake is not on an Xbox console, period.
Yeah. I
Right.
mean, they've definitely been doing it with Square, Capcom in terms of with Street Fighter and pretty much funding Street Fighter 5.
So, already doing it with Square, right? But would Sony in turn start to double down on this? Are we going to see
I mean, it's
Capcom games, have exclusivity period? Sega would do the same thing, or will they? Yeah.
I mean, it's definitely a possibility. We Sega, and of course, like the hottest property that we look at for our interest, anyways. With Atlas, um, you know, currently putting stuff out on PC, making more strides towards that. I don't know if Sony would want to lose something like a Persona, right? I mean, which is kind of been more so, at least the Persona 3, 4, 5 have been
Yeah,
on
like the
PlayStation.
mainline Persona games.
Yeah, the mainline
I
ones.
don't.
I don't know if they want to lose something like that, because I feel like you go to PlayStation and you get that kind of like that experience, right? The kind of Japanese side, when as with Microsoft. And when I was thinking about this deal, I was like, well, I mean, these games aren't for me. I mean, I played a lot of Overwatch, don't get me wrong, but I
Right.
don't play Warzone. I don't play, any of the other stuff in that catalog. But it's not just those games, obviously. But
Hmm.
I was thinking to myself, like, what does this mean as a person who doesn't own an Xbox? I still own a PC, but if I didn't own a PC that was capable of playing a lot of games, like, would this make a
Right.
difference for me? And
Yeah.
it wouldn't. From there, it wouldn't.
Because of the type of games that you play, right?
That I
But
play,
but
exactly.
definitely for a lot of other console gamers, like this potentially could be a big deal. Like I do remember, like when Microsoft purchased Bethesda, people were at that time they were mad. They were like, oh, the next Elder Scrolls Microsoft exclusive, Doom, whatever next Doom game is Microsoft exclusive. Um, Whatever other games Bethesda. I didn't.
Whatever.
Yeah.
I
Just
mean,
like
there's a
what?
lot. I mean, there's
Like Fallout, that kind of stuff,
Fallout.
right?
Yeah.
And to those people that primarily play those games, like I can understand why you would be worried. As a PC gamer, though, I'm not worried at all. But like, yeah,
Best of all the worlds, right there. We have the
exactly.
best of all the worlds.
Well,
You got to you got to.
just play AP on PC, really. But yeah, um,
I mean,
like, yeah.
yeah.
So I don't know, man.
I was gonna say, so Phil Spencer did put out a tweet about this really quickly, day of or whatever, and was like, had good calls this week with leaders at Sony. I confirmed our intent to honor all existing agreements upon acquisition of Activision Blizzard and our desire to keep Call of Duty on PlayStation. Sony is an important part of our industry, and we value our relationship.
I
Just
love how
like
he specifically calls out Call of Duty, like of all the games, because it's probably the one that everyone's wondering
it's
about.
the
Really,
one
right?
everyone's wondering about,
Right.
And
But here's the
yeah.
thing. The key word here is existing agreements.
E- Exactly. Exactly. And you could say, I would say, like, some of these games as a service kind of thing, like Warzone. I think Warzone's going to stay on everything, like a Minecraft, right?
Yeah, well, especially because Warzone
Warzone.
pulls in so much money.
Yeah,
Right?
like
So whatever.
Warzone. Like, don't worry about Warzone. Don't worry about some of those other games that are like Overwatch. Overwatch and Overwatch 2, we already know is already multi-platform anyway. So, uh,
Yeah.
like those games, Diablo, for now, but like a Diablo 5, an Overwatch 3, Call of Duty, whatever,
Yeah, Call of
1945,268.
Duty, whatever the fuck, World War Fighter, Vanguard, Advanced
Like,
Warfare. Yeah.
I mean, you brought up a good
Sure.
point. Yet, like,
Yeah.
those are 100% in our mind's eye. Like, you don't just buy this company for 70 billion to say, hey guys, y'all can still play.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think it's obviously, in their minds as a value proposition. I mean, Microsoft is a company that exists to make money.
Exactly.
And I'm sure they have some very intelligent people working at Microsoft. So from here on out, it's going to be a question of, are we going to make more money by keeping it exclusive to Xbox, or are we going to make more money by having it multi-platform as it is now?
Exactly.
And you bet your ass, if they crunch the numbers and they're like, actually, you know what, it makes more sense to keep it multi-platform. They're just gonna keep it multi-platform.
They're gonna, yeah, exactly. And especially like you said, like for those games that are already out there, they'll do it, and they're gonna crunch numbers. Well, time will tell if we're all wrong in terms of, oh, they bought it, but they're never gonna have it. They're never gonna put it on another PlayStation platform ever again.
Yeah.
Like I said, they'll crunch numbers, and we'll see like why, what happens. But that is an interesting point, that there's just a lot of stuff. My initial reaction, honestly, was I never thought any of these big third-party publishers would be gone. They were like a neutral ground for me. They were like a Switzerland or something. Like, they like as much as the big publishers or like the big console makers could get like, studios, right? I never thought of them just like, hey, we're gonna go get an EA. It was always talked about. Take-Two has been on the market. Ubisoft almost got bought. Like those things have been on talks for years, for decades.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little scary to think like if Sony was just like, oh, well, fuck it, we're gonna go buy EA or whatever, right? And then Microsoft's like, well, we're gonna get Sega, and then Sony's like, we'll get Square Enix then. If that happen, like I don't think it will happen, but if it would happen, we would have this bizarro like world where there's just two gaming companies. You know what I mean? Like
and Nintendo, yeah, two gaming companies and Nintendo.
Yeah, plus Nintendo, yeah,
plus Nintendo.
We leave Nintendo alone. But...
it basically becomes like streaming. Like you have to like my anime is on service A but not service B.
Yeah,
but
I would
need
hate
both
that.
of them.
Yeah, and then you'd kind of have to buy both consoles. I mean,
who doesn't
lots
have
of
both
people
consoles?
already own both consoles, but I mean, yeah.
But what was I was looking this up, and apparently the motivation for this deal, at least from Activision side, Bobby Kotick was saying that they want to move the metaverse forward.
Yeah, I know that's a totally different fucking discussion. Yeah,
that is a whole different discussion. But saying that with this deal, that services like Microsoft's Teams could be integrated into games. So where
did
you
they
could
actually say that?
This is from the words of him on a CNBC interview. I was like,
no, I mean, I think I don't
crazy.
know if he was just like totally bullshitting that or whatever.
Teams like technology, right? Like the ability to share and create content, and then also have it being marketable within the same world or worlds of all these different IPs. Funded and built up on Microsoft's cloud security services.
I wonder if he just had that as a prepared statement to be like, "Oh yes, this is why we're selling to Microsoft. Like it's all according to plan. We need this purchase." And as opposed to Bobby Kotick just being like, "Yeah, fuck it, they're just buying us. Like we're done." Like
we don't. I've seen like conflicting things, of course, because we know the whole situation at Activision Blizzard was just dirty. There seen reports, of course, that he's going to be leaving the company after this deal is done.
After
which
the deal closes, right? Which is everyone, like a year from now.
Yeah, hit the praise the sun emotes right there. I'm sure he'll get a bunch of money, but let him.
Yeah,
let him
he's
go.
gonna get a huge ass mother. He's gonna get a big payout. I mean, people are pissed because he's like, well, this human doesn't deserve
a reward
any more money than he already has. But it's just kind of like. I think they're saying like basically Microsoft is just kind of flushing the company. I was gonna say toilet, but
flushing the the poop down the toilet. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, like, hey, that if that's something that comes from this deal, and hopefully it is, I would honestly hope to see Call of Duty be a game that comes out every 3 years, every 2
I would
or
love that
4
as well.
or something.
I mean, that's just me as a jaded, cynical old gamer. But like, there's a thing. If you have more time for your game, you're gonna have a very good video game. But obviously, Microsoft. No, sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. Activision. They have realized you put a Call of Duty out every year, you make money. You make money.
You make money.
It doesn't matter if the game is somewhat shitty. You make money, and to be honest, can you blame them? You look inside your soul right now. If you could like half-ass, if you could half-ass anything about your job and get rewarded for it, would you?
I no. This is a trick question. Trick question.
You look in my eyes and
this
say
is
that
a
to me honestly.
Trick question. Oh gosh.
Are you looking at my eyes and saying that honestly?
But the thing I was looking at was like, they own so many different first-party studios now. I mean, honestly, between the Gears, between Halo, Call of Duty, that's 3 first-person shooters. Just cycle all 3 of those. They can make their own IPs.
They should do a fucking like shooter metaverse.
Freaking Doom as well. Exactly.
Yeah,
right?
They have Doom now.
They have Doom. Like they have 4 really solid FPS studios making. That games like that. So I mean, they don't need to crank it out. Do what they want to do. I'm looking at this first party studios, and I mean, honestly, like all I can say is games as a streaming service. They got it down. I feel like that is what this deal is about more than anything else. I felt like Bethesda
Yeah.
was about getting some first party studios. This is about just like, hey, you know what? We don't care where you play. You play anywhere, but you got
Hmm.
your games to play. Game
Yeah,
Pass.
yeah, yeah. So I think like, I mean, like, man, I don't want to think that this is like a setup for some kind of Netflix style um
I mean,
future where
it
like all
has to
these
be.
games kind of exist in streaming. I would ideally, because I'm just like an old school gamer, I guess I would ideally still like to purchase my video games, right? But I don't know. Ask me when 2033 comes around or something like that. 2040. Like maybe in like 20 years, the internet is so
Actually
damn
good.
good that it doesn't matter that we actually have all our games on a cloud and not on our hard drive, right?
Yeah, and because I mean, the thing is that um, we talked about this before. It's just kind of annoying for some people. Downloading these games is a lot, and then streaming them is just as intense. You know,
Yeah, like
um,
do you think like Microsoft is starting to set up like the like Game Pass? Like do you think this is them like starting
this
to
is it.
dig the
This
foundations of
this
Game
is
Pass, which will be like the dominant force in video gaming in the next 10 years. Look at
the,
Netflix. Like think 20 years ago. Like what was Netflix? Do you remember what they were?
shipping me some DVDs and no one shipping them back.
Yeah, exactly.
They made money. They literally made a ton of money off no one shipping them
Yeah.
back.
If you just
Just
imagine
subscribing.
like that's how Netflix started. Now look at what Netflix is, and they fucking like committed. They committed to like some kind of service, and they grew on it, and they grew on it, and grew on it, and now
Exactly.
like they're the dominant streaming force in like entertainment, right, on the internet. So is this Microsoft like if that are they just like we're gonna get all these publishers? We have all these teams under our belt. We're gonna develop Game Pass. Like Game Pass is how you play video games in
I
10
mean,
years.
they have. I feel like this is their goal, and they've Phil Spencer has said this in past interviews. Like, I would love to have Game Pass on a Switch. I'd love to have a Game Pass on Sony consoles.
Mm,
I don't care where you're playing it. I want
mm.
you to play Game Pass, and so it's this thing where you really have to think about it. Like, Microsoft is thinking long term in terms of like if you look at the sales, of course, last generation with the Xbox One, I hate these names for the Xboxes now.
Xbox One, yeah,
Xbox One, complete flop. You know,
in terms of
in terms of almost everything. I mean, I don't know.
well, I
Did
wouldn't
that
say
system?
complete flop.
Did
I
it?
mean, it's an okay console, but yeah,
It's an okay big box, but it's
sure,
it's there. And
yeah,
now we look at the Series X and S, and even with, of course, like shortages happening, PS5 still has a lot of people like, yeah, I got a PS5, like, and what are you gonna do with it? I don't know, but I got one of these rare
yeah.
jewels.
The PlayStation brand, I definitely would agree has, especially since the era of the PS3, they've done almost a 180 in terms of the eyes of consumers, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So,
I mean,
uh,
I just feel like it's Microsoft. Like, you know what? We don't need to like Game Pass has 25 million subscribers. That's the announcement
yeah,
they made when they
yeah.
bought this, when they announced all this stuff.
I do think Microsoft is absolutely changing their strategy. They're less focused on selling boxes, and
Yeah,
now they're focused on selling you a service, right?
exactly,
If they're not going to sell
exactly.
you a box, they're going to sell you a
A
service.
service.
They're kind of like lock you in to Game Pass. There's a reason why Game Pass exists on PC. They don't care where you're playing it, right?
Right, right. Just give them the money and play your games. We don't need to sell boxes anymore, and that's fine because you can play it on pretty much anywhere else. And in
Yeah,
that
you can.
case,
I do believe you can play Game Pass on an iPad via the xCloud service, right?
yes,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And so what you get is essentially Microsoft becomes a publisher again,
Well, they
like just
already are,
like
but
I mean
yeah,
like a third party weird publisher. Like that's just
yeah,
what they do, like a Sega.
yeah.
Yeah,
Well, yeah.
I mean they just get out the box business and just
But like
publish
my question to
your
you
thing.
is like, how do you think Sony's going to take this? What's Sony's next step?
Uh, I mean, so for me, I was looking at that list real hard, and we were kind of talking about it because we know Sony is working on something, another tier or something for PlayStation Plus
Right.
that should, in theory, be a rival. And this is why some people might try to fight that antitrust laws that like, hey, um, this is too big of a deal to go through. Well, the competition isn't exactly gone. It's not like they own the entire space. Honestly, I feel like Sony obviously they have to respond. They've been buying solid studios to fortify their first party.
They've been making
roster.
strides towards PC ports. There's a reason why they purchased Nixxes, right?
And God of War on PC is one of the biggest games on Steam right now.
Yep.
Like,
I mean, it shows that, like, there is an untapped market for these video games. I mean, I remember seeing a Reddit commenter be like, "Oh, watch Sony no longer, put games on PC in response to this purchase."
No.
But it's too juicy of a fruit, to go to.
They've already they've already branded it.
Yeah.
I forgot what it's like, PlayStation PC or PlayStation something,
something like that. But the return on investment, I believe, is just too great for your PC ports. Like they made a lot of money on that God of War PC port. So,
and it honestly, it got me hyped for Ragnarok. I think it just gets people hype. I'm playing Horizon.
We were talking about this previously as well, but I think you give PC gamers a taste of God of War, and then if it's like, well, did you know there's a new God of War game coming out, but it's going to be exclusive to PS5 for a little bit? You might want to get that thing.
You might want to get that hotness.
So if you want to play Ragnarok, you got to get a PS5, right?
I am 100% telling you right now that I'm playing Horizon Zero Dawn
on PC, right?
On PC,
and you're getting hyped for the.
I'm getting hyped for the sequel, and I said, you know what? I'm not gonna play it until I either get a PS5 or it comes out on PC. I will not play this game on PS4. I don't know why they're even making it for PS4.
Are they making a PS4 version? I had no idea.
There is a PS4 version.
I thought it was a PS5 exclusive.
I thought so too, but no, it is a PS4 game as well. And I'm like, I can't go back. I can't unsee what I've seen.
Yeah. So I mean, here's the thing. I believe it was fairly obvious to for Sony to do this, to put out old basically God of War is not a new game, right?
It's not new. It's 6 years old or something like.
To put out a port of an old game just before the sequel comes out, and it's like, get a taste of this, losers, go buy PS5, right? It's pretty transparent, I believe, right?
Yeah. It's the hype cycle, man. The hype cycle. But I mean, like you said, like what does Sony do? I feel like Capcom, Square.
You think
I feel like
they're going to buy those studios, or they're going to just do some crazy exclusivity agreements?
Exclusivities. I feel like they've been trying to do this exclusivity thing with them for the entire PlayStation 4 generation, and I feel like it's just time to get one of them. I don't know which one. Square makes the most sense. Like when I think of Square makes the most sense. Right. But Square has good relationships with Nintendo too. You know what I mean? Like it's hard to see.
That's very, very true. It's
hard to see who gets one of these Japanese publishers, and on the fact that Microsoft is missing the Japanese arm. They've got all these Western studios just added, right?
But they're missing a lot of Japanese.
They're missing completely Japanese in Europe.
I think here's the thing, though. I mean, as much as we like Japanese games, and as much as a lot of my gaming world revolves around Japanese studios, right? As much as I care about Japanese games, I would honestly be inclined to say that there's more value, not just literally the number wise, but this other kind of subjective value in Activision Blizzard. Like the games that they have, there are just more people that care more about those games than people who are like, oh, Final Fantasy 16, that's kind of cool.
But I feel like Final Fantasy, there's something about some of the pop culture things, right? With Final Fantasy, with Dragon Quest.
Well, okay, right.
Well, maybe not Dragon Quest as much in the West.
No, I mean, no, I'm not
But just I feel like they're it gives you that Nintendo factor.
Sure.
I grew up with this.
Well, I get what you're saying. I totally agree with. I mean, I feel the same way personally, but you have to understand that there are multiple generations of people playing video games, and I think
That's true.
Yeah, and I think for people between the ages of 15 and 25, I mean, maybe they don't give that much of a shit. So,
But at the same time, I was thinking about Square and Crystal Dynamics and Eidos, those IPs. I think Square is a good fit just because they do a lot of narrative games. Even Tomb Raider, that's pretty much like an Uncharted, that formula, right? That's Sony's style.
Mm.
And then of course, they got they have Marvel. They do Marvel games now.
Oh,
With
well, at least
at least
now.
four now,
Yeah, in
right?
the same way
Right.
that EA does Star Wars games,
That
but
does
yeah.
for now. But I felt like, okay, maybe just the way that they've been kind of like there's a lot of narrative focus. It just seems like it's a good fit for like Sony and the games that are published on that console. But I mean, like, yeah, I mean, in terms of overall branding power, you can't get any bigger than something like EA or Take Two with Rockstar or a
Right.
FIFA. Freaking FIFA is one of the biggest games. Period. Everyone
Yeah,
plays
then
soccer.
they and Konami's like winning 11 or whatever it is, right? Pro
Konami's
Evolution
making
Soccer. Yeah,
NFTs. Bless their heart. I mean,
sure.
everyone will be, but hey.
I want to know how Sony's going to react to this. Maybe they're just going to double down on some of their exclusivity agreements. Maybe they're going to just ride it out, see what happens. Maybe they're very confident. Maybe they think like, oh,
There's
we're leading the home console market. We have all
I,
the consumer base and whatever.
that's
You know what
super
I mean?
arrogant. That's like PS3 area. Like, but we're
You know,
amazing.
yeah,
It's like
it could
you
be.
can't just ignore this. Is
Yeah.
like you have to respond. Their stock dropped like at least enough to be 20 billion in loss in stocks
Yeah.
after this.
I mean, we'll see what happens. I mean, because they already do have agreements. Like they do have the FF16 exclusivity for a year, so that's Square. I want to say there was some stuff with Call of Duty in the last couple of years, right?
Yeah, there's been,
Obviously that might change, but
Yeah.
they've been doing a lot of this kind of stuff where it's like Sony first, or only on Sony for a while. Whether or not we're going to see more of that, we will see. And when it comes like which studios will be doing it, so well, they are going to target, or they're going to go to Ubisoft or whatever. Assassin's Creed, for example, like Assassin's Creed is now like Sony exclusive or something like that.
that would be a good pick. You know what? Ubisoft Square, that would be bomb. I mean, for them, and I think some of it is like, hey, do some of these companies even, I don't know how it works if their shareholders just like can push things away. Cause we know, like if someone tried to buy Nintendo, is that, Nintendo
Yeah, you heard the story of how Microsoft tried to buy Nintendo?
Yeah.
And
And Nintendo's like,
they
no.
actually got laughed out of the room.
Exactly. Right.
They
So
got
like,
laughed out of the room. Yeah.
and we know they're not $70 billion. I don't think.
What's
I
the
mean, who knows?
what's the market worth of Nintendo? Do you know?
We have to look that up. That's a good question.
Nintendo worth.
That's a good question.
Well, one of their stocks is Goldman N, which is pretty pricey, but
That's some expensive stocks right there.
55 billion market cap.
Okay. Well,
So Microsoft could have.
they could have.
No, but I mean, just because they have the money doesn't mean it's not like they would do a hostile takeover or anything. They can't, right?
They can't.
Because
Yeah.
Nintendo absolutely, and for the second time, probably would have laughed them out of the room. But
Laughing all the way. Probably would have got some Smash Brother characters. Probably would have added them as Smash Brothers avatars in there, like some me characters. Like these are the people who tried to buy us.
yeah,
But I mean, hopefully, I mean, in the long run, I mean, just kind of moving forward, what it means, hopefully, for Activision Blizzard is, we know the situation there wasn't a good work environment.
yeah, it was a pretty bad work environment. So there's a couple of things I think people are looking forward to in for a couple of ways. Like, how is Microsoft going to improve the games themselves?
Mhm.
And the second is how will Microsoft improve company culture?
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens in the next 2 to 3 years.
That'll be something pretty big. Because we know, like, apparently, one of the Overwatch producers, Tracy Kennedy, had actually said that in response to Bobby Kotick saying, like, oh, yeah, our stock is decreasing because, Overwatch and Diablo 4, like, they're taking too long to develop. And she's like, heck no, man, you had us working.
You kind of messed that up, right?
You had us working on, like, random Overwatch 1 projects that they just canceled. And working overtime on them, so like they just never got any progress done.
So they never all the resources that was supposed to go to Overwatch 2 is just essentially wasted.
Just wasted, yeah. So I can only imagine so many situations like that across. And like you said, like the whole like 6 studios on Call of Duty. Come on now. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, I have to admit, when you think about it somewhat objectively and from the mindset of a company, like if one of your franchises is making like bank year after year after year after year, and it's making you money, like objectively money,
Crank it out.
that's probably what you want to focus on. Yeah.
I mean, it's not like some of these other companies aren't doing that. Most of them are. It's just not every year. Let's just face it. Unless it's a sports property, most of them aren't.
Which,
But they
sure,
are still
yeah,
making
yeah.
the same game in that series, just maybe
It's
2 or 3 years
paste.
later.
Yeah, just copy paste increase. Like there's a formula in the code, just like n plus one for the for whatever the fuck is in the menu. Yeah.
So that's, you know what, that's the best thing I hope that comes from this deal. I think cleaning up the corporate policy over there at Blizzard, helping the employees in terms of just being better at not at their jobs. What am I talking about? But just being able to come to work, make games, have fun, and just feel like you're in a loved environment and that you're supported.
Yeah,
That's
well, at
that's
the
that's
very
all
least,
you.
like you don't
That's
have to
all
fucking
anyone
like
ever
you don't have to
wants.
like be afraid at your job.
Like
Yeah,
yeah, like
yeah.
it's like make it
That's
like,
like the
like
bare
a
minimum
home.
I
You
want to
know,
say. Yeah, the bare minimum is being able to show up to
the
work
bare
and
minimum. Yeah,
not be
yeah.
afraid of anything. Yeah.
Um, so that's definitely the thing right there. And I think at the end of the day, I've said this a couple times. You know what? Game Pass, it is like a Netflix service. Like everyone, I feel like everyone has it, should have it. It's great.
Yeah, I'm
but
not.
you know the blockbuster releases, like dang man, you gonna go play that, or you gonna go see some Marvel movies this next weekend? Like this is gonna be hype. I'm getting the group together to play it. I feel like that's what Sony's now, right? Like we're all gonna go play God of War.
For now,
it's releasing.
yeah, yeah,
For
yeah.
now,
Yeah.
right? Like
I keep. You know what?
either my internet died.
Chill or anything. I'm not being
Oh, okay.
sponsored or whatever. But I keep telling people like I would maybe consider signing up for Game Pass soon-ish, because like they might, once it becomes a more valuable service, they might just like increase the price of it.
I don't
And
think they would still grant. It's not they're gonna grandfather anyone in.
think
Like
okay,
like
okay.
oh
I
you
do.
got
You
you know.
can. I mean, maybe we'll double check this for me, but I think like for the PC version of Game Pass, I think you get grandfathered in on the old price.
Oh really?
I think so, because it used to be like a different number on PC. Like there's anyone who's not sure, there's actually two versions of Game Pass. There's one for consoles and one for PC. And the one for PC, I believe was I want to say it was like $10 a month. And I think that went up. And I think if you were subscribed before a certain date, I think you're grandfathered into the old price.
To like see if I can find it.
I mean, I could be wrong. I could have just be
Because I mean they did. There was a point where they did
they increased the price,
include
right?
it. Yeah. Because I think
Yeah.
I think it's because it's now Game Pass Ultimate gets you Game Pass, Xbox and PC and phones like cloud.
Okay,
I think is the
yeah,
thing.
I'm actually looking at it now. So Game Pass for PC used to be $5 a month, and now it's $10 a month.
Okay.
$5 a month, damn, that was
Yeah,
cheap.
that was ball. Like, dude.
I don't know if you actually get grandfathered in. I'm not 1,000% sure if you got grandfathered into $5 a month, but still, like I'm saying, like there's no reason why they won't increase it to 15, because Netflix is like what 15, right?
It's going up. Yeah, it's going up again.
Yeah. So I mean, like I think like once Microsoft has proven that they have value in Game Pass, what's to stop them from being like, oh, you owe us $15 a month now, like because you get Halo, you get you get Gears of War, you get whatever the fuck, I don't know.
You want me
like,
to look at
yeah.
Overwatch, Diablo, Call of Duty,
Yeah,
World of Warcraft,
Call of Duty, you get like Elder
StarCraft,
Scrolls
I don't know.
6, whenever that comes out.
The
But,
new Starland fantasy game. I don't
Sure, yeah, all that stuff, right?
You get it. I mean, you get a crap get a crap ton of games. I'm not gonna lie, day and date. And of course, like if you want to play Rainbow Six Extraction, it's Extraction, right? Or is it
Yeah, the new one, right?
Yeah. That's on Game Pass too, so you can go
Is
ahead
that
and do that.
exclusive? That's not exclusive, is it? That's not.
No, what's crazy? It's not exclusive. It's not even on Ubisoft's service for some reason, but you can get it on Game Pass. I was looking and I was like, "What the heck? This is weird."
Okay.
So,
Yeah, I mean, like,
Get it.
who's to say that like this isn't the start of Microsoft just like starting to go insane when it comes to exclusivity, either on Game Pass or not on Game Pass? Like, what if, what if the next like Soulsborne, like, what if the next From Software Soulsborne game is exclusive to Microsoft?
I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you, they need to go ahead. Sony combine that
Sony should
anime
buy
service.
FromSoft. Yes, Sony should buy
just
FromSoft. Yeah.
Buy from, make a Bloodborne 2, buy Square.
Release a
Buy-
PC port of Bloodborne with 60 frames per second as a minimum. Yeah.
It would be. It's crazy to think that this is where it's kind of led to, right? The fact that A, Microsoft at one point was like, man, we ain't got no games. B, let's go buy some games. C, you know what? Let's just keep buying games. Oh
I
yeah,
want
we
to
can just
know.
sell them. Like how did that all just and Sony's like, hey, we're winning. Oh, we got great stuff.
I
Oh,
want to
we're
know
good again.
like if Sony return like if retaliate, I don't know, retaliates, but like if Sony responds by purchasing EA or Ubisoft or whatever, right? I want to know like what this means for indie gaming. Like indie gaming have a little bit of a renaissance period in the mid to early
2000
2010s,
when
right?
pixel art became god
Yeah,
everywhere.
like indie games had a little bit of what am I trying to say? Renaissance? Yeah.
Resurgence.
Yeah, resurgence, renaissance period,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Um if gaming just gets more and more homogenous, right? Will indie gaming have another I'm not trying to say indie games kind of ever went away. They're doing very, very well.
They're doing
There's
really
tons of
well.
really good indie games, right?
Yeah.
But are we gonna see like an even further flourishment of indie games when people are tired of purchasing from like Mr. Microsoft or
I feel like I thought about that as well, and I want to say that because like you said, if everything becomes homogenized, right? The cool
yeah.
thing about the video game industry is that there's tons of people making new games all over the place. A lot of them indie creators. The question will become: do they go to Microsoft or like one of these services, right? And say, hey, we want to make our game bigger, or we need some help, because that's part of being on Game Pass is they have different types of deals. We talked about it before, where some of them are like, hey, we'll help fund your game, just put it on here, right?
Yeah, I think in like separately it's like a bit of a tangent, but like Epic is kind of doing that with their storefront on PC where they're like, we'll pay you X amount of dollars to have your game exclusive to Epic Games Store for a year or whatever, right?
Right.
Um, I we did touch on this briefly when we were talking about Japanese developers leaving Capcom or leaving Konami or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of Japanese developers are actually starting their own studios. So they in Japan there's a little bit of an indie movement, right?
There's definitely, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no, continue. I was
Oh
saying, yeah,
no,
there's
just so
definitely
like
a huge indie
Hideo
movement.
Kojima famously left or fired, whatever, got fired from Konami rather. He's doing Kojima Productions, and we have the guys behind sorry, who was sorry the
Oh,
guy
the
behind Silent Hill and
Silent Hill, the Fudge, that one game that looked hype, Splitterhead,
yeah,
the
and then
Splitterhead
like
guys.
we have games like Bloodstained or whatever, right?
Bloodstained with Igarashi. There's the
Yeah.
Danganronpa guy.
Yeah.
Doing his thing
So
with
they did their
multiple games
studio,
too.
Tokyo Games or whatever. So in Japan, there's a little bit of an indie movement, I think. In the producer, this is how what happened. The producer persona, right, left Atlas, to
Wait,
go make his own studio, right?
the music producer, right? Was it music or art? Art,
No,
music.
it was the producer. So it's like music,
Oh,
art, and
okay. So it just took the other crew with him.
he's like no, he's like the guy. He's
Oh,
like the one
this
guy.
dude is like the G. He's
He's
the
like
one.
the one guy. Yeah,
Oh
he's
crap!
like the one guy.
Holy moly!
Yeah, he's like the dude. He's like the Ishitaro Daisuke from. He's like
like
that.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
he's
didn't
like
know.
the
I didn't
dude.
know Persona was made like that. That's why it takes so long to get some stuff. Gotcha.
He's like the Ichiwatari Daisuke
He's-
from
he is
Arc
doing
Sys.
it. Oh my
He's
goodness.
like the guy. Yeah, he does the art, he does the music, he does the everything. Yeah, he's the dude.
I
Anyway,
lo-
so he left Atlas, right? Yeah.
Oh man, I mean, in that gives. I mean, there's so many ways and so many things we could continue talking about this, because it goes so far. Like how this does kind of change things, and even with these indie but not really independent game creators, like we just talked about some of these kind of big name creators that went off, and they need someone to publish, they need someone to support. If you want to hook us up, we'll play loyal ball. I don't know how this is gonna work, how it's gonna shake down. Just because it was such a huge deal, and how Sony responds to it is gonna be
Yeah.
pretty crucial. I just want, hey, just get us Crunchyroll, Funimation, all that stuff on PlayStation Plus. You let us download some free games. I'm talking like put the whole PS Now category as downloadable. Put that on there. It's already there. And
Yeah,
then
I would purchase that. I think we might have said this before, but like how much would you pay for such a service? And like if it was like all encompassing, like all of my entertainment in one package for the year, I'd be like
was it crazy at one point? Sony, they don't do their digital distribution platform for music anymore, right?
Nah, that's dead.
Yeah, it's down. What, dude? What happens if that would have been hype if they had done that like a long time ago? You imagine like PS Plus was like games, music, and then you got
And
like
anime and stuff
anime,
like that.
dude.
Yeah. Yeah, we talked about like a fictional like service that had all of the shit you cared about. How much would you pay per year? And I'm like, well, if it's just all of my entertainment, I'd be like anywhere between $50 to $100, right? Because like
Yeah, yeah.
we already pay that much in like separate subscription fees. So
Honestly,
like,
yeah, we already are paying like $50, $60
to
at least
100, it
for
depends.
just five
Yeah.
2 games a month.
Yeah. So
On top of everything else. Oh,
yeah, it's like
gosh.
Netflix, Spotify. There's some people out there that are subscribed to Netflix and Spotify and HBO Max and Disney Plus and
Dude, it's
Amazon
sick,
Prime
man.
and
The landscape
whatever.
needs to change. It needs like I'm sorry. It's just going back to the US and seeing how much stuff I lost on my Netflix. I am thankful
Yeah, it's
for
pretty shitty, right? Yeah,
I am thankful for international Netflix.
yeah, and like I have people that are like, "Hey, have you seen that show?" And I'm like, "No, I'm sorry, I don't subscribe to that." Yeah, so
That's how they get you though, man. It's like you're watching something. It's on one service one year, and next year you're like, man, this is 4 seasons. I need
you know what
season
I've
4.
been binging recently?
What?
The Spider-Man movies, actually.
Oh, they're on Netflix, right?
They're on in Japan at least. They're
Yeah,
in Japan. All of them are on Netflix in Japan, except for some reason Spider-Man like 1, the first Tobey Maguire movie. That's not on Netflix, but Spider-Man 2,
Is that
3,
on Hulu or something?
I should double check actually. And then Amazing Spider-Man 1, 2, and then the first 2 Tom Holland movies. Those are all on Netflix.
Just not.
Just
The
not Spider-Man
first-
1 for whatever reason, yeah. So I've been like watching Spider-Man a lot, and I'm like, well, I should probably also watch Avengers, but that's not on Netflix. That's
No,
on Disney Plus.
that's on Disney Plus.
So I'm like, you know
Get your
what,
1
fuck
month.
it.
Get your
yeah,
1 month trial ready. Get it ready.
Yeah, I probably should. I really should. Yeah.
Hey, get your 1 month trial, or Staya has you covered. Go
Oh my
rent
God. Oh,
movies.
I should
gosh.
take a little bike ride to Staya. Yeah.
Dude, I haven't been there in so long.
Oh my God,
I used to
same,
rent
yeah.
movies so often. I rent them like once a week.
For me, it was like the 1,000 yen per 5 CDs.
Oh yes, yes, that was
And
the
then
deal,
you go to
dude.
the counter, and the guy's like, "How long do you want to rent your CDs for?" And I'm like, I'm gonna return them today." And he's like, "You're gonna listen to 5 CDs today?" And I'm like, "Yeah," but I'm actually just ripping them.
You're
and
just
then-
ripping them.
then
I
making
wish
them-
I had like a ripper right now because maybe I can do this because like there's a CD that I want and yeah, thanks Johnny's Entertainment. Yeah, I'm calling you out on YouTube. Come on at me. They're gonna be like,
Oh, no,
"Dude,
don't
we
say that.
can-
We're getting,
no,
yeah,
no,
you're gonna fuck us up.
don't
But yeah.
come at us." But no, I
Yeah.
want to listen to the new Kimono Takia CD, and it's the guy from Judge Eyes for everyone.
Yeah,
who
but
is,
it's
or
not on
Judgment.
Spotify or Apple Music,
It's
right?
not on anything. Only CD.
You gotta pop that in your PS4 to give it a listen.
I have to pop it in my PS. Can I rip from my PS4?
No, it's not that advanced.
Can I copy from my PS? I feel like I can copy. PS3 could do
You
it. I
have
don't
an
know if
Android
PS4 can
phone,
do it.
right? You have an Android phone, right?
I do.
If you care that much, you can purchase. I think honestly, they sell it at Staya. To be honest, you can
Oh
purchase
no, not
Yeah.
like a little USB dongle thing.
Yeah, and it just like rips your phone. It just rips your phone. Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Yeah,
I mean,
just
if I can do it at the store, you know what? Maybe I'll.
No,
I'll
you
go ahead
can't
and
do it
do
at the
it.
store. No, it's encouraging piracy
Oh,
at that
okay.
point. They already encourage piracy, but this is like one step further. Anyways, yeah. So I would go to Staya and be like, "I'm returning them today because it's cheap. It's so cheap if you
It's so
return them the
cheap.
same
It
day."
is
Yeah.
cheap. It is very
And it
cheap.
goes like, "You're gonna listen to 5 albums today," and I'm like, "Yeah."
Well, I mean, I think that 1,000, the 5 for $10 deal, that was basically for a week or a weekend
it
or something.
was-
'cause-
oh, you know what?
Or
You're probably right.
4 days or something. Because I would do it
Yeah.
every holiday, like 3-day weekend or something. I'd just go and get like 5 movies and.
Back when I was still giving a shit about like AKB and they would do their new singles,
Oh yeah.
I would be like, "Yeah, I'm just gonna, just gonna return this today."
quick question before we move on to the last little bit of news. Who's your
Yeah.
favorite AKB member?
Oh, I'm out of the game so far. So
I mean,
much.
like back in the
then,
day. Back
I
then,
used
yeah.
it used to be a toss up between Oshima Yuko or Sashi Haruino.
Good taste, man. I mean,
They're-
I don't know about
yeah.
the Sashi, man. Sashi, she
She's like really
she's crazy.
fun. She's really funny.
She's really funny.
There's also Oshima Yuko's also really funny.
Gosh, Yuko was my girl, man.
Yeah.
Yuko and like Takamina.
You like Takamina?
I like Takamina.
She graduated like 2 years ago. Like she was in the game for a long time.
Wait, what? Oh no. Wait.
What?
Oh, no, I just got silent. I was trying to think. I think she graduated more than 2 years ago, but
My
it
time,
was
my
it was.
sense
But
of time
no,
is all
I think it was
fucked up,
Yokoyama. I think Yokoyama Yui. Like
Oh, she graduated?
she graduated. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think the latest person, like the last gen, from what we would know, is like Minagishi or whatever. Like
She
she finally graduated. I think last year.
When did Kashiwagi Yuki graduate?
I think last year or the year before.
Oh my god! It's anyone who doesn't know what there's so many
Just
people
go,
who's
just go
like
look it
doesn't
up.
give a shit.
Just
They
if
have
you look
no
up
idea who these
if
people
you look
are.
up the
You're just
letters
like you're just
AKB, you'll
yelling
find
names.
it.
We're just yelling names. Yeah. Anyways, let's move. Let's wrap this up.
Let's wrap this up with some Final Fantasy
Yeah.
pornography.
Yeah, I mean,
Sounds
just a little side story. Yeah, so like I think it was like on the weekend or something, or last week, there was a Italian government Senate meeting that happened over Zoom, right? And then awkwardly in the middle of this government meeting, there was an amateur, like rendered, like an artist had made this Tifa porn video of Tifa just getting railed by Cloud, or presumably Cloud, right?
This looks like
Yeah,
we're not
so
actually showing this. If you're listening to the podcast right now, this
yeah,
isn't actually on screen. Don't worry.
yeah. So it's just like it's like a Zoom meeting. If you ever been in a Zoom meeting, I'm pretty sure you know what happens. Like a bunch of like people talking, their heads pop in and out, and then you can screen share. And then in the middle of this government meeting, like in full screen, there was just like this porn video that was like just playing, right?
I can't.
And I think
like,
for a
wow.
while nobody knew what was kind of happening at first, but then people caught on, and then they had to like I can't remember if they like ended the meeting or they had to like kick the guy out or something like that. But
You know, the worst part is this thing was apparently it happened when they were introducing one of the last year's Nobel Prize
winners in
Nobel
physics.
Prize winners in physics. Like,
And
can
Tifa
you
shows
imagine
up getting railed? Yeah,
Oh my! But it just looks like it was like 30 seconds.
but it's like just as uncomfortable. Well, how would you feel if you were in a work meeting and like it's a huge ass work meeting, and then like for 30 seconds there was just porn on screen, but nobody was talking about it? Like you'd be like, "Am I seeing the same thing? Is anyone else seeing this?" Like,
I like honestly, it would be really strange. It's already strange enough when like you're in a Zoom meeting, you know, at work, and then, like. So, but I mean, like, you
Yeah.
know, like someone either has their microphone on or like their camera's on when they expect it to be off, or like some
you're
weird
like shirtless or something like
yeah,
that.
yeah, and you're like, do they know?
Yeah,
what
you're shirtless right now.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, so this is just like this, what is it? How do I explain this? Just yeah, amateur, rendered 3D animated porn video of Tifa, right? But the artist that made that video, well, for starters, he basically like pinned it to his Twitter like timeline. But I think he blew up. Like he not only did a lot of people are now suddenly very aware of this guy's work. There's a lot of jokes. There's so many like Tifa Italy memes now. It's like Tifa's just like, I've seen one. She's like wrapped in a Italian flag, and she's like, "I'm back from my vacation. What did I miss?" Or like, you know what I mean? Like, or it's like top. What is it? Like people in Italian government. It's like a Google search, and then like Tifa shows up in there. Like Tifa's member of the cabinet or something like that.
Oh my goodness. Oh,
Yeah.
man, it's crazy. It's crazy. I mean, it seems like it was obviously kind of like a hijacked kind of thing. Someone had done
So
this.
I think what happened was for some reason one of the politicians posted the Zoom link and password to a public Facebook page.
Etiquette. Like this is not something you need a YouTube video on. Don't do that.
Yeah, so he posted the meeting link and I presume the meeting password, publicly, and then someone was just like, "That's a government
That's it.
meeting.
Game.
I'm gonna fucking
Game.
yeah." For if you recall, in the very beginning of the pandemic in early 2020, when a lot of people were doing meetings and classes over Zoom, there was an issue where you could basically just kind of guess at a Zoom URL meeting link, because it's basically the same URL with a bunch of digits, right?
Exactly.
So you could basically kind of guess at what a meeting would be, and you would just see if it happens to be a meeting. So people would just jump into random meetings that were not unlocked, but they were just not password protected.
Right.
And just like crash a class or crash like some kind of company meeting or whatever. So Zoom had to like double down on their security after that, because people were getting because suddenly so many eyes were on Zoom because they were like the service.
They did, like, because
yeah.
I remember before the pandemic, Zoom was like, because we used it at work, and I honestly I didn't really think much about Zoom.
It was just some client, you know, that
I
you
didn't
would
even
use
know
for
what country it
meetings.
was made in. I was just like, this thing looks bland as heck.
Yeah,
Like,
so
it just,
before I started working at the company that I work now, I
yeah,
was like,
yeah.
what the fuck? What is Zoom? Sure, Zoom. Oh, it's a company. It's a boring company
It's a
thing.
boring
Sure, it's a
company.
boring company
Exactly. It's a
thing. Yeah.
boring company.
And then it blew up in the
It,
pandemic, and we're like, we're having Zoom drinking parties, we're having Zoom D&D nights, and I'm like,
and I'm like,
Zoom?
why Zoom?
Why not Discord?
Yeah. Like
Skype?
Zoom to me felt like the equivalent of Skype. Like,
Yeah.
it seemed like a dead service that was still around, and
Yeah,
but
so
was
I
new.
used Zoom. My experience with Zoom prior to the pandemic was just some boring ass company thing, and then suddenly everyone's like using Zoom for everything, and Zoom has to like suddenly be like, oh, it's more than just businesses. We have classrooms, we have friends, we have families.
Exactly.
Yeah, using
Got
Zoom. So,
got a bunch of people using it. So
anyways, that's it. If
yeah,
you guys want to look up the artist name, his name is Juicy Neko. Go ahead. You're welcome.
free promotion right there.
Yeah.
GC Neko, if you want to give us a shout out on your Patreon or wherever.
Send me some of those videos.
It's like,
Anyways.
Alex wants a piece of the action as well.
I'll just fucking. It's if you check us page, it's not even that expensive. I don't even mind paying that much money. So yeah, yeah.
Oh man, well that's gonna do it for us this week. As I said, it's been a great show. Alex, do you have any announcements or anything you want to promote? In closing?
Follow me on Twitch. I'm streaming Monster Hunter, but once Pokemon Legends Arceus comes out, I'm gonna be streaming that. So come hang out.
Isn't that like today, tomorrow,
I know, it comes out on
or
Friday.
something? Oh, it's Friday. Okay. And then of course you can follow the podcast on Twitter at UGP. What?
Did you just die?
No, I was thinking about backslashes and underscores.
No, it's twitter.com/UGP underscore cast.
Every time I say slash now, your voice pops in my head because I'm about to say backslash.
Backslash, yeah.
That's what happened. Like your voice popped in my head and I was about to say backslash. So you can follow us there. And of course, like I said, leave a... Go to the YouTube. Check out some of the content we're doing. Me and my friend, we just finished up Portal 2 co-op, which was a fun blast. We're going to be playing some more games on every Sunday, so you can check out that. And we'll be playing Tiny Tina's Wonderlands when that comes out in March on the YouTube. So go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube channel, Unknown Games Podcast. And finally, you can follow me at Ninja Tricks on Twitch. I'll be playing Horizon Zero Dawn and then Elden Ring next month.
Yes. Well, sounds good.
Sounds good. We will catch you next week for episode 119 of the Unknown Games, the Unknown Games Podcast, a service, a place where we hope... I can't do it anymore. Well, we just hope that you live safely. Remember,
don't die or whatever. See you guys next week.
Exactly. You set the tone. Go play some games. I'll fix my intro and my outro next week.
Yeah, sounds good.
Give me an A+.
All right.